There are three cases on tonight's agenda. The first case is case number 14-8V, the property at 30 Utah Place. Second case is case number 14-9V, the property at 75 Stewart Street. And the last case is case number 14-10V for the property at 24 South Schaefer Street. We're now going to case number one. Case number 14-8V, zone is R1, property at 30 Utah Place. Bruce Wentworth is the appellant. The appellant is requesting a variance from ACC 230314.
John,
Yes.
before you carry on, you got to do it on the call. Swear me.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay. Thank you. The board is required to take testimony under oath. Would anyone wishing to speak concerning any item on the agenda please stand? Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you will present to the board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Please be seated. Now we're going back to case number one. These guys were all honest, so we decided that. The appellant is requesting a variance from ACC 230314 to allow a wall 8 feet in height, where 6 feet is the maximum height allowed, with a front setback of 25 feet, where 0 feet is allowed, and a side yard setback of 12.5 feet, where 0 is allowed.
Except it's reversed.
It's reversed.
Okay, because I thought maybe they were requesting 12.5, and there shouldn't be anything from the wall side.
0 feet where 25 is allowed.
Okay. So there should be a 25 front setback of 0, where 25 is required,
Correct.
and a setback of the side yard setback of 0, where 12.5 is the minimum required. Okay. Zoning code officers?
Well, I think it's pretty self-explicit. We're requesting to put a masonry wall. I believe it would be the north side property line coming out to the, I don't know what you call it, the old well house or bath, what was that? I don't even know, or pump house or something, to the front there, which is all the way out almost to the property line. Guardhouse, okay, running all the way back along North property line and then along the west property line behind Children's Services. And I can't remember, are you bringing it on the south property line as well, coming out? Or just the two?
Very limited.
Very limited, so the request is the front setback coming from the house up to the guardhouse, and then that's in the front yard setback, and then the proximity of it to what would be, because there's a platted alley to the north of it there, or south, whichever way it is where the side yard setback is required.
So the front guardhouse is right on the...
Close to it.
It's right on the corner of the property line. There's some down there. Property corners. Do you have maps? Do you have, can I come up there?
We will call you in a minute.
So I have a quick,
Sure,
so
any
John,
questions for the...
yeah, the question about, the reason we're dealing with the front is because that side one that they want to construct will go all the way up to the front and join, and that front wall is out of compliance, right?
The front wall and the proximity to the right-of-way, they're right on the side yard setback as well.
Right, I saw the post where it
So,
marked,
yeah.
what about the back?
The back's okay, it can be on the property line.
Okay,
And the front one got there because it got
The front
there.
one's not supposed to come either 25 foot back within the first 25 foot or the front setback of the existing house, whichever is the least of the two. In this case, they're bringing it all the way out to where that pump house, or excuse me, old guard house is, which is an accessory structure.
Any other questions for Mr. Paskey? You want the pictures? Okay, there you go. Would the appellant please come to the podium, Mr. Bruce Wentworth? And please state your name and your address for the record.
Bruce Wentworth, 8266 Rock Riffle Road, Athens, Ohio.
Okay, thank you. You might state your case or anything you would like to.
Okay, basically, we're asking for a variance to essentially reconstruct what's already there in a much nicer way, a much safer, a much more secure, a much more solid way. I have some can I show you photographs?
Sure.
Okay, this is the corner, and I'm sorry I don't have more, but you can pass those down. This is the guardhouse in question, right here, and
Right here, and so you're gonna, and this is the...
that's the
new-
existing. That's an
Right.
existing fence line in disrepair. This is another view toward the house.
And that's
Right.
been there for a while.
That's been there
This has
since
been there.
1929.
And what are you saying about this fence that you'll be redoing on whatever we're calling it, the north side, or?
That's the north side, and basically what we'd be doing is building a concrete wall, 2-foot brick columns every 16 feet with stucco infill on both sides, limestone caps.
And that's how you plan on doing all of the fence, even along the side portion in the back?
Along the sides and the back. And,
Right.
and then basically, so that's the situation on the corner. This is what we'd like to build. And then the reason really for the variance request for the north property line toward Utah is that there always was, and you can see a remnant of a chain link fence that was encrusted, grown over with vines. Part of that has been torn out. It was just impossible. You couldn't even pull the vegetation out. They had to pull everything out. So we're basically replacing a wall that already existed. This is the condition of the
Back?
fence
back
and the
side.
wall in the back, and this is the condition of a gate right now along the back. And this is essentially kind of an overview of the scale of what we're talking about doing, kind of stylized. But this is along the back, the Children's Services parking lot, and then this is that little gatehouse. So basically, we're tying into the gatehouse where there used to be a much more transparent. Well, not anymore. I should go back.
Yes, please.
I guess I have a question. I measured the chain link fence that was there, approximately 5.5 feet. I measured the neighbor's fence across the street. It was 6 feet. And it was fairly private, so why 8 feet?
Well,
Why-
because portions of the fence, now if you measure but it turns out that 8 feet, essentially the reasoning behind the 8-foot fence primarily is for the sound and privacy toward the highway along what would that be, the west property line.
Okay, so that would be the rear of the boundary that faces...
The long wall.
That
parallel
faces
to
Children and
Utah.
Family Services
Yeah.
parking lot?
And that, if you measure different parts, that is 8 feet tall. I mean, the vegetation has gotten up. The ground kind of
Okay, but
moved.
the fence was not 8 feet tall. The fence was 5.5 approximately.
Yeah, but if you measure now the vegetation, so the reason for going for a taller wall than was there was because of privacy and noise.
Okay. And the front wall, down towards the guardhouse, which isn't right on the corner and down for several feet, is a shorter wall, stone wall, with shrubbery on top, hedge.
Now that's along Utah.
Right.
Okay,
and then
so we-
beyond that it goes right into just a stone wall, but that's only like 6.5 or 5.5, 5 point.
Okay, along Utah
Right.
is a stone wall.
Right.
And that's short.
Right.
And then it even gets shorter toward East State Street, down to a hedge and then a really short wall.
Right.
So basically, what we're trying to do is to replace the north face. The north.
Yeah, I walked
fence.
it. I know what, I talked to
Okay.
one of your facility people. He walked it with me and showed me
Yeah,
everything.
with some consistency with what we're requesting for the back wall. And it turns out
Okay.
that the way it works, the wall would be measured from the ground.
Correct.
There already is 2 feet, 2 to 30 inches of concrete there now from the ground. It would be removed.
On that one side.
Sure. And then the other issue is the fact that because of the height of the new house next door, an 8-foot wall, if there was an attempt to actually shield that house, 8 feet is not going to do it. I mean, you'd need 16 feet. So basically, the height of the house next door is not going to be really impacted significantly by a brand new wall because of where the main floor is of that house. It's above, so it's more for the consistency of the of Jeff's property from his side, and that's the and also on that north face, just because of the how close it is there. Essentially, the wall and the footers, everything will be on the 30 Utah property. In other words, when it's done, when the wall is done, if you were to reestablish the property line, the wall will be in from the property line.
I would hope so.
Well, I mean,
you don't want your neighbors having your fence, right?
well, I'm saying that even the footer will be in on Jeff's property. So essentially, there'll be more property in their side yard because of that situation.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, Mr. Baum?
A couple of questions. When you say 8 feet, measured from the south side of that wall or the north side of the wall? Because the north side has risen up about 4 feet.
Exactly, and is it from the south side or the north side? And it isn't as you saw that little stylized drawing with those little guys and diminishing there. It's nowhere near like that. I mean, the fact is that we could make a wall that staggers, or we could make a wall that is straight, but the ground staggers. So
No,
you're right.
You missed my question.
Yeah, well,
Here's the wall.
yeah.
Here's the south side, Utah, and here's the other side. You're going to measure from here or from here? 8 feet from here or here?
Well, 8 feet will be from
Here.
the area of ground that the wall exists. And
Okay.
if we need to at the 16-foot increment, make adjustments in the wall, the stucco in between, we'll do so, because otherwise we'll have a 4-foot wall here and a 12-foot wall there.
My second question is, what is lost if you only have a 6-foot wall?
What is lost? The noise reduction, the more privacy.
But if you say that the house next to it already will exceed what privacy is lost?
Well, there's more privacy. Well,
If you're only talking this far, what are you losing?
the consistency, because the primary reason for the height is for the west wall.
I still don't understand what privacy is lost, but
You're really saying that the north wall, which is the one that's most visible, is being raised to be consistent with the west wall, which
Yeah.
would be 8 feet,
Yeah.
presumably. But it could be consistent with the west wall on the north if both of them were 6 feet.
If the west wall were 6 feet, then that's this tall. Well, that's actually that tall,
Right.
but
Right.
and so to go through the effort of taking down something that really it doesn't look great and is a nuisance, and to go through all that effort and then not to be able to create something that will help with noise reduction. I mean, it just doesn't. That 2 feet is really essential to serving the purpose of what Jeff wants to do there. And so that's really the.
Okay, so is it really just aesthetically to be consistent, or is it to reduce noise?
In the rear, that's what establishes the height, essentially.
Okay.
So then, once the height's been established for that reason, the idea is that there be some consistency with the view from the house in that direction. And then it will be heavily planted on the inside. You know, I don't know exactly how it will be treated on the other side, but certainly the wall itself will be finished. I mean, it will be as nicely detailed on the outside as it is on the inside.
So how do we actually know that the difference between 6 and 8 feet is really going to cause a distinction between noise coming from the highway? I mean, you look at highway walls and they're much higher than 8 feet. So I don't. How do we, John?
Well, 8 feet became 8 feet became the sort of the reason that there is that I'm standing here. I mean, one of the reasons, because it's not 6 feet. So the fact is that 8 feet, 8.5 feet, 9 feet. I mean, that's chosen because it exceeds what's allowed, which is 6 feet. I mean, if I were here asking for a 7-foot wall, I'd still be in the same boat, right?
Well, right, but so. But it's also the setbacks. We're dealing with setbacks
Right,
too.
right. So
setbacks.
another issue. So that way, by saying the 8 feet, it just seemed to be it seemed to be a height that we chose that was going to be considerably more effective than if the wall was right here, and versus another two or so feet high.
Okay, thank you. You will have another chance to come back to for the rebuttal. Is there anyone in here who would like to speak in favor of the request? Yes. Please state your name and your address.
I'm Scott Malcolm. I live at 31 Utah, directly across from the property. I also own 37 Utah. I've been an Athens resident since 1968, and I was chair of the zoning board in the 1990s.
Scott, you have a microphone in front of you, but it doesn't broadcast, so if you could speak up just a little, I'd appreciate it.
Like closer?
No, don't speak
Nope.
into the mic, just speak to me.
Louder. Okay. That's right. I thought I probably should address some of the findings of the board, since that's what you're really looking for. One of the first things, though, the present wall of the property actually varies. At the one-guard shack, it's actually on the left is 7.5 feet, and as you go toward the right, it's as you measured, I think more closely like 5.5 or 6.5 feet. So the wall does vary. It's strictly horizontal. Okay. I guess the first thing I wanted to talk about was practical difficulty, and Bruce has also mentioned it, and that's the sound level that comes from the bypass US 33. Our house is fortunate. We face that, and the rear of our house protects us from the sound. But I do know that if you're out there on the street, that at times the sound can be unreasonable. And if you're getting closer, particularly when there's a swimming area over their property at 30 or at a higher level, I think the 8-foot would be practical difficulty would be raised. I agree, 10-foot would work even better, but I don't think we want to go to 10 feet. I think in terms of exceptional circumstances, Mr. Chaddick is doing a complete renovation of the house, and the house is massive. And if you're going to do aesthetically pleasing thing, you're going to have to put a fence in that's going to go with the house. And I think the 8-foot fence is not unreasonable in terms of what's trying to be accomplished. Particularly, and it's going to be in a design which I think would enhance the neighborhood. In terms of equal property rights, it's only a sideline. In terms of equal property rights, the house across the street at 27 Utah has on its side and its rear a stone retaining wall, which varies like from 3 feet to 4 feet. And on top of this stone retaining wall is a 6-foot fence. And so if you look at the 4-foot wall and a 6-foot fence on top, you've got your 10 feet in the neighborhood. I also want to talk about the absence of detriment, particularly at the property. Well, let's go to the one on the west side, which is the Children's Services. When the house was built in the 1920s, there was a children's home in a very large acreage, So the house was really quite isolated. And since that time, Children's Services has built a number of buildings, and essentially it's an administrative or a commercial unit now. I mean, there are no children there. I was over, and there are over 100 parking spots that are paved in that area. And in addition, there are 2 pole buildings approximately 30 by 40 feet. So, I mean, and this is an unzoned area. It's not in the city of Athens, and we have no control about what's going to happen in development of that property. And I don't think it would be, as a commercial property, a 10-foot or an 8-foot fence will not be detrimental to that property. On the north side, a new house is being constructed. Prior to the construction of this house, the property near the fence level was flat and level. And it was only about 50 feet away from the fence that it had a gradual rise, and then it became more steep until the house at 42 Utah sits quite a bit above the level over their fence is. In the development of this property, they chose to place the house so that it was somewhat high, because it was even higher as you approach 42, which means the property next to number 30, there is now a grade that is 4 feet higher than it used to be. I mean, they have a nice ditch, and that goes up to the foundation, 4 feet higher than what was originally there to start with. Above this hits the foundation, and probably above the foundation, the house is probably another 1 or 2 feet. So that they've increased the height of their property 4 feet. And so it seems not unreasonable to have an 8-foot fence at that side. Their only window, but there are several windows, but they're high. That's where in the bathroom and the laundry room area and so forth. The only window of consequence is one at the rear of the property on a bedroom, and that window would probably be, the base of the window would be below the 8-foot, but when you stand at the window, you'll be looking considerably above the 8-foot fence. The general nature and not of general nature, I think this house is certainly unique in Athens. And if you're doing a renovation or restoration of this house, I mean, I think what you're trying to do is do the whole thing correctly. I've really been impressed with what's going on in the property, and I really feel certain that it will be an improvement in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Any questions? You may be seated. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor? Yes. Please state your name and your address.
I'm Marjorie Malcolm, wife of Scott, live across the street at 31 Utah Place. And you know what? We didn't discuss this before, but he said everything that I'd planned to say, so I can't really reiterate it all. But I definitely am in favor of allowing this fence to be built. Whatever Mr. Chaddock does will be done to perfection, will be in conformity to the house that he is renovating. He, I think, plans to spend $1 million or $1.5 million in renovation, so we can be sure it is done to perfection. I've been inside the house, and you cannot imagine what all he has done to improve it. The mahogany woodwork to the glass, to the stained glass windows. You can't imagine. And He's done so much to the yard already. It's just marvelous. So I just want to state the fact that I certainly am in favor of your allowing this variance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Is there anyone wishing to speak in general commentary? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Okay. I had one question for you. If you could go back to the podium, please. So once this wall is built, completed, there will be no point along the wall that would be more than 8 feet from the ground, right?
There'll be, well, actually, if you look at that drawing, the original design, okay, the idea is that the panel inside is 8 feet, and just, that's what we chose the wall to be. So yes, there might be, it's possible and probable that where the columns are, that they would exceed the 8 feet by possibly 6 to 8 inches.
You are trying to keep the top all at the same level, right?
Well, no. As a matter of
No.
fact, we talked about the topography. See, we really haven't. It's the difficulty of shooting the grade. I mean, with the transit, is there's difficulty because of the vegetation. Just actually getting in there and finding out what the terrain does.
Okay.
So it's very likely that there will be some movement in the wall as the ground moves at that 16-foot increment. So if this were, in a perfect world, if this were completely flat everywhere, yes, it's probable that the columns themselves, which are 2 feet, would exceed the 8 foot, which is basically the bulk, the majority of the wall.
So you're trying to get it minimum 8 feet at any point.
No, what you'll do is basically what the code says now. Instead of 6 feet, it's going to say 8 feet in height above the average natural grade.
Natural, okay.
So at one point it could be 8.4, but the other end might be 7.8. So
Okay, thank you. I have a question for you, Mr. Paskey. If they were going to build a wall at 6 feet, do they still need a variance for the setbacks because it already exists?
yes.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions, comments?
I have
Yes.
a question for John. Do we know the opinion of the owner of the new house?
They haven't come in and said anything to me.
No, we haven't received word one way or the other.
They were notified, of course.
Okay, the discussion on the floor is closed, and do we need to discuss any further, or would someone entertain a motion?
Well, I guess I have a question. It seems on the one hand, since there's a fence that already exists, even though it's a chain link and you would want to replace it, and we have issues with setbacks, at least on the south side, that would be where the driveway is going in, and then a setback problem on the north side where a fence already existed. It may not be as problematic to forgive those setbacks because the fence already existed, but the other issue then would be the height. And so my question is, can we split them up in this variance? That's what I would like to discuss, if possible. John?
Can I am I not able to make a comment?
Well, you can, yes.
Okay, I discussed this with Jeff, and it seems in my mind, the biggest concern that I've always had is the idea that there would be an 8-foot high wall on, what is it, Jacobs? Is that the
Yes,
street
that's
there?
Jacobs.
Yeah,
That's the side where the driveway goes in.
yeah.
We're
And that's,
calling that the south side?
that's the,
Yes.
Yes, okay,
that's the south side.
right.
That is not the case. I mean, this is a conversation we just had this afternoon.
And children's.
The idea is that when the wall turns the corner,
Driveway actually goes right in here,
there won't be
and the garage is here.
I mean, that would have a much greater effect on that street and the sidewalk, having an 8-foot wall right there, than in the other direction, certainly for both for both sides, because it's all level there. So the idea is to diminish the height along Jacobs up to the spot where the driveway is that goes into the garage. And because, of course, the wall, there is no wall, it's just a hedge that goes out to Utah. So the idea is that...
Well, there's a wall with a hedge on top.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
there's actually a wall there and a hedge.
There's a wall there anyway, but at the point where on ground level, the wall will certainly not be anything close to 8 feet as it turns the corner on Jacobs.
But it'll be over 6.
Probably not.
So you're saying you're going to take that wall from the edge of the driveway where the chain link fence starts, and you'll take that down to the corner of Jacob and the parking lot, and that would be 6 foot along Jacob, and then you're going to increase it as the grade goes up to 8 feet? I mean...
No. Let me show you the map. So here, no, let me show you this. Now, what I'm saying is that here, this section would be much shorter.
Right. So then how does it tie into this and not look out of sync if you're looking for some kind of symmetry here?
With shrubs. This would be all incredibly planted right in here.
But I don't care about the inside. That's not what we're dealing with. I'm dealing with the wall.
But you really don't even see it. I mean, the transition is one, you see this elevation, and by the time you get over here, I mean, this is, to me, this is a more kind of an interesting place to be and see it. Once you're here, you're in a huge
right. Exactly. I walk back there. Right. Yeah. So there'd be a transition here. So that's, I think that's important to know.
Which isn't shown here.
Yeah, right there. That won't be the case.
Okay.
Yeah, that will
It'll be the same. You're talking the same style, though.
Probably.
Could we please?
Yes.
Could we see the map? That would be helpful.
Yeah, take that down there.
We all need to see that.
Yeah, what we're talking about is here's the house and here's the driveway, Jacobs. Here's the little gazebo area, and the other house is right there. So we're talking about consistency, and this would be lower. That's right on Jacobs.
This is the only section we're talking about here, which is pretty much out the way anyway.
And that is an existing hedge on top of a stone
Right,
wall.
and the hedge is also along here.
Yep.
And then the house is basically in this area.
Okay, that's helpful.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
I'm not sure I quite get how the consistency of the wall is going to be at starting at the driveway where it would begin, I guess. It would be maybe 6 feet, and then 6 feet, and then it's coming to this pillar, and then this wall's going to be 8 feet.
If I could say that...
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying is that if, from the experience I've had with Jeff, it will look great. I mean, there isn't going to be the issue that you are concerned about.
Well, I think we're going to just be going with the average 8 feet as the
I
proposed.
think we're going to have to go with 8
Yeah.
feet because this...
That's
without having a visual, I mean, it's hard to say, oh, yeah, we'll let you do whatever you want. I mean, and you're going to do a great job, but, I don't know. It's kind of hard to have a vision when...
It's hard to say tear down.
I'm sorry.
And John, also, we're going to maybe keep them into one package, both variances, so the height and also the setback.
So you don't want to...
No, I don't think so. Just have it in one.
What do you think about that? Ed, what do you think about that? You were like shaking your head when I was saying that.
You can have two motions.
Right.
One for the setback and one
Right.
for the height.
Right.
The
I don't
benefit,
see that as
what's the
necessary.
benefit of it?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to vote for one and against the other, that would be the benefit of it.
Right.
If you tie them together and you want to vote against one and for one, you're stuck.
Right. That's why I think we should split them up.
Any comment from the,
Don't you have to have the appellant's permission to do that?
I assume?
Well, in the past, we have done such a thing without permission, but it would be nice, it would be polite.
The board can grant conditions, and when the conditions would be,
Right.
you could have the setback but not the
Well,
height,
I'm
or you
just
could
worried
have the
about
height but not the
changing
setback.
basic variance.
I think those
once
two go
advertised.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it together.
Let's get into it together.
Well,
Okay.
And
Well, it's...
Yeah, I would like to say before we go into this that, I am frequently a stickler for the rules, but in this case, this house is one of the grandest houses in Athens. It was built by a man who was a very important businessman in the early part of the 20th century, whose name is still known to a lot of people like me who rumble around in archives and things like that. And I think that if we had a historic district in this area, of course, this is a historic house for Athens.
Well, except there are certain rules and regulations for
Yes.
historical preservation,
Yes.
and we're not even dealing with that.
We don't
so-
have rules in Athens for historic
Right, we're only
preservation.
working on that, okay?
But we don't have such a thing. And this is a place where the wall is already of varying heights. It's lower here, it's higher here. And so the fact that you might have a differing height on a corner between the south and west, I don't see as an impediment.
That's not my problem.
Okay,
That's
good.
not my problem.
Okay.
That's not, so you can,
Okay.
I was just trying to get a visual of
Right.
what that was going to look like if they were looking
Okay.
for some kind
Okay.
of flow
And
in
the 8
this.
feet in the back is not going to be visible to too many people, I don't think. And I can't see that it's going to be very much of a detriment on the north. Obviously, you may disagree with me heartily, but that's my feeling about it.
And I think the integrity of the architecture is, is their
I
responsibility.
think that's, I
Yeah.
guess, what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say, that,
Yeah.
that this house is of a piece, and to start doing something odd to conform here, I don't know that it's really necessary to do that. And so the question is there a practical difficulty, and what about the equal property rights, and is there in fact any detriment?
Well,
So
the
we
previous
can go
property
through and
owners
see.
seemed to be, they gave me a tour of the house before they moved out. They seemed to function very well with what was there.
Yeah.
So that, even the highway had been there forever, right?
They didn't
So-
live there.
They didn't live there very long. So let's go through the findings.
Yeah, let's
We
make a
ready?
motion first.
Need a motion? I'll do it. I move that we consider a variance in case 1408V from Athens City Code 23.03.14 to allow a wall 8 feet in height where 6 feet is the maximum height allowed, with a front setback of 0 feet where 25 feet is the minimum required, and a side setback of 0 feet where 12.5 feet is the minimum required.
A second.
Okay.
Second. Did you get a second?
Okay, got it. Exceptional circumstances. There are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property in question or to the intended use of the property that do not apply generally to other properties or classes or uses in the same zone.
Well, I think there's many other houses in that area that would maybe like to have a 8-foot fence in the back. I don't know, they're not requesting it, so. Seems to me the 6-foot privacy fence is more than sufficient.
The
That's
privacy
debatable.
is
Yeah.
more of a, say that again.
6-foot privacy
Is
fence
more.
is more than sufficient.
I see.
Not true. There are some cases that depends on the religion or other things that 8 foot may be more appropriate.
But we're not talking
But-
religion here.
I know,
I don't
but-
think we want to
But
talk
we
religion
can't
here.
say 6 foot is always the optimum value. So
Well, it's in the code, so
yeah.
I guess someone thought it was.
So any other
Well,
discussions on the?
Mr. Malcolm has brought up the issue of sound, and it is true that other
Yeah.
properties may experience that as well, but may not be exclusive, but it certainly probably is an issue.
As well as the topography of the neighboring home where there's a big rise which has that house much higher than it would be if there weren't that
Okay.
difference.
Yeah, well, many houses, I mean, we live in Hilly City, right? I think many of us live in places where our neighbors are sitting up here
Yes.
looking down on us, so I don't think that that's particularly exceptional.
Practical difficulty and undue hardship.
Well, I think these things overlap, and so we're talking again about privacy and sound.
Okay. Preservation of equal property rights.
Let's back up a minute. When we talk about hardship and difficulty, if you read the whole thing, we're talking about creating a difficulty that doesn't have to be created
For the appellant.
for the code to still remain
Right.
intact.
Preservation of equal property rights. I'm not going to read everything, but unless you want to. But are we granting more privileges to this piece of property than others in the same vicinity and zone?
Well, Mr. Malcolm has pointed to a house in the neighborhood, I think it was Mr. Malcolm, that has a considerable wall behind its house, exceeding 8 feet.
Okay. Minimum variance. The variance granted is the minimum variance required to make possible the reasonable use of the property.
No, I think not, because 6 foot would be reasonable use that would provide privacy and some sound reduction. Considering most people would be sitting, so if you're out back hanging around, you're sitting, and
So what
if-
about 6 versus 8? Is that 8 minimum comparing to 6 maybe?
No, I think that it's not 8. It's not the minimum.
No, what I was meant was going from 6 to 8. Is that extra 2 feet? Is that the minimum variance, or is it a huge difference?
I think it's a huge difference.
Okay. Absence of detriment. I guess we have established that there is none.
Well, probably some people disagree. I don't see that there's any detriment myself, but, what exactly is the detriment? The only detriment that could possibly be in my mind would be to the code, and I don't see that this is going to destroy the code or be something that undermines it.
And not of a general nature. I guess Mr. Malcolm explained that too. He's my mentor, by the way.
Mine too.
Okay, Ms. Hollow, we start with you.
I'm going to vote yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Joan?
No.
And I vote yes as well. So you have the variance. Thank you. So we move on to case number 2. It's case number 14-9V, the property at 75 Stewart Street, and zone is R3. Appellant is requesting a variance from ACC Title 25 to allow an addition to a structure for which the addition has a base flood elevation of 635.3, where 639 feet is the minimum requirement. And based on my calculations, I guess it's 4 feet and 10 inches less than the required height.
I thought it was 3.7. My math is different from yours. Okay.
No, it's about 4 feet 7 inches. Mr. Paskey, any comments on this?
Yeah, I can keep in mind this one is this will be reviewed under Title 25. Did Paul give you the findings for that in your packet? I thought you did, didn't you?
Yes.
That'll be found. There was a variance granted for this structure back in 1991, requesting the exact same thing in essence. The reason that we're making it come back forth is they're requesting to put an addition onto the Parish Hall building, which is the one that had the variance in 91. That in the last sentence of that it said, in substantial conformance with the plans presented at said meeting. So therefore, the plans were presented in 1991, and this is obviously a change, so we can't really say that that variance is going to carry because the plans have changed. So therefore, that I've requested they come back, and basically it's an extension to a variance that they already received, what is that, 20-some years ago. So, do my math there. I don't know. I did not ask the law director. I do want to ask if anybody's a member of the church. They may want to think about it. Recuse themselves, or Lisa, you are. I don't think you have to. Probably no different than if McDonald's was asking for a variance. You're a patronage of McDonald's. So in this case, I think you're okay. But I just wanted to bring it to the public's attention if anyone was. so.
Well, Lisa said she would, and Ms. Ellen Salto said she would vote for in
Okay.
this case.
Okay. So that being said, the architect, Trent DeBrune, is here to speak on behalf of the church, and I'll let him take it from there.
Okay. Please state your name and your address for the record.
Hi, my name is Trent DeBrune. I live at 12092 Sweat Hollow Road in Millfield, Ohio. So I was asked by the church if they could come up with a design to rearrange some of the existing conditions of their space and to possibly do an addition. And the intent was to basically move the office area from one side of the building to the other side of the building where all the parking is located, and also to increase the hall size. It's currently a business and a assembly building. We're not changing any of the functions in that. It still has a office area, it still has a hall, it still has a meeting room, the chapel, various parts of that are all staying the same. And so the existing building is around 8,400 square feet. We're asking for a 1,930 square foot addition to the backside away from Stewart Street. I have a site plan and some drawings, if I may use your easel to show them to you.
Sure.
Would you like me to bring that down in front of you?
Yes,
or do you want me
please.
to?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
I apologize, I didn't practice this before I came.
You're doing great.
You need to take that off of there.
Well, I was going to use that as a back. This is Stewart Street. I'm sorry, I don't have this turned very well. Is that better? This is Stewart Street. Just off the page here is Mill Street. This is the existing Christ the King Church. The parish center is located right beside it. The existing building is approximately that size there. And the proposed addition is this space back here. The existing parking lot and existing buildings around it. The area outlined in gray would be the existing building, and basically the office area is here currently. The intent is to move it back to this, toward the parking lot where all everybody parks there, create a new entry here. The existing hall is about this large. The intent was to make it about that size, and then to relocate the kitchen from here back to here so it would better serve church functions. These are some drawings showing the proposed, basically the elevation that would face the parking lot with the enlarged here with the new entry. We have a sloping sidewalk up to the front door and some steps as well. I do have some handouts if I may distribute them to you.
Sure.
A rendering of what it may look like from the north side of the building. I can give you all a floor plan if you would like, or would you, is that not necessary? I also have a narrative statement for?
We have that one.
We have this
Have
one
that?
already, thank you.
All right, let's put this down over here.
There you go.
And don't destroy our zoning map, Trent. We only have 2 of them in the city.
So if I may go through the narrative statement.
Sure.
So it's an appeal narrative statement for the special flood hazard area permit, non-residential refusal for Christ the King University Parish Center. The scope is to expand the existing hall, relocate and upgrade the kitchen, and provide an office new addition. So regards to Athens City Code 25.05.04 variances C. The proposed addition would match the existing exterior building construction of brick, reinforced concrete block, and concrete slab on grade. The danger that materials may be swept onto other lands is not increased with the proposed addition. There will be minimal effects on the floodplain as the existing grade within the perimeter of the proposed addition is near the existing floor height. The danger to life and property due to flooding or erosion due to this addition is minimal, if any. The susceptibility of the proposed facility and its contents to flood damage and the effects of such damage on the owner is increased minimally due to the proposed work, since the building will have the same functions. The services provided by this religious community and ministries and services are invaluable, from serving the college students to the elderly, sick and homebound, to those in need of food, clothing, and other necessities of life. The Catholic Church is an integral part of the community. An alternative site location is not applicable, since the addition must be attached to the existing structure. The compatibility of the proposed work will provide the same functions as the current building. The spaces are proposed to be reconfigured and or increased in size due to the growth of the church community. Number 8, in 1991, a variance was granted for the existing building for plans as submitted. We are requesting the same variance be extended to the proposed project. It is our understanding that had there not been a variance provided for the original structure, the value of the addition would have been compared to the value of the existing building, and that calculation would have been sufficient to allow the work to proceed. The safety of access to the property in times of flood will remain unchanged by the proposed work. Number 10, the addition does not increase the expected heights, velocity, duration, rate of rise, and sediment transport of the floodwaters and the effects of wave action expected for this site. The cost of providing governmental services during and after flood conditions are not increased due to the proposed work. The existing utilities remain unchanged with the proposed construction. The existing HVAC units, as well as the proposed units, will be mounted on the roof. The proposed instant water heater will be mounted on the wall above the base flood elevation. Appreciate your attention to this project and your consideration in our request.
Questions?
Can you just explain the basic reason that this needs to be built down here? It's, needs to be built lower than the way the code is now.
Well, the existing floor elevation was granted a variance back in 1991, several feet below the floodplain. And to build an addition height at that above the floodplain would be, I believe, we're 4.5 feet or so above, and we have to build a foot above that. So then this addition would have to be like 5.5 feet above the rest of the building.
So it's already at that level, that lower level.
You're correct.
And
Any other questions for the panel? Well, thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you.
Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of the request, or in general commentary, or in opposition? Okay.
I guess can I ask just a question, going back to the old
Variance?
the old variance. The question would be, service facilities such as electrical and heating equipment shall be constructed at or above the regional flood protection elevation for the particular area or floodplain. Is that still the case? Do you know?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
I'll reread it. Service facilities such as electrical and heating equipment shall be constructed at or above the regional flood protection elevation for the particular area or flood-proofed. So in the new addition, I'm assuming this took place in the original structure.
There are rooftop units for the existing structure
Okay.
for HVAC.
So will any of, I suppose maybe not electrical, but because you're going to move offices to the back, right? The kitchen is going towards the front, right?
Correct.
But electrical or heating equipment installed in the new addition?
Yes, the heating equipment for the addition would be roof mounted as well.
Okay, that was my question. I just wanted to make sure
And
that.
the water heater for the kitchen would be mounted high up on the wall as well.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you.
Should we make a motion first and then go through those findings?
Okay, I move that the board review case number 1409V, 75 Stewart Street, a request for a variance from ACC Title 25 to allow an addition to a structure for which the addition has a base flood elevation of 635.3 feet, where 639 feet is the minimum requirement.
Do we have a second?
That's it.
Ms. Jenny Hollow, second. Okay, we are not doing the usual six findings. Instead, we are following Title 25, which basically consists of 11 items that the appellant went through them. I probably should have read the items in here and then listened to his response. But you all have this document from BDT Architects, and all the 11 items are the one he read. So I'm going to go quickly over what the question was and what the answers we got. So if you could please have this document in front of you. In considering such variance or applications, the Board of Zoning Appeals shall consider and make findings of fact on all evaluations, all relevant factors, standards specified in other sections of these regulations, and the following factors. Number one, the danger that materials may be swept onto other land to the injury of others. And you have the response from the appellant, or you can make a finding on your own. Number two, the danger to life and property due to flooding or erosion damage. Number three, the susceptibility of the proposed facility and its content to flood damage and the effect of such damage on the individual owner. Number four, the importance of the services provided by the proposed facility to the community. Number five, the availability of alternative locations for the proposed use that are not subject to flooding or erosion damage. The necessity to the facility of a waterfront location where applicable. The compatibility of the proposed use when existing and anticipated development, or with existing and anticipated development. The relationship of the proposed use to the comprehensive plan and floodplain management program for that area. Number nine, the safety of access
to the property in times of flood or ordinary and emergency vehicles. Number 10, the expected heights, velocity, duration, rate of rise, the sediment transport of the flood waters, and the effects of wave action, if applicable, expected at the site. And the last one, number 11, the cost of providing governmental services during and after flood conditions, including maintenance and repair of public utilities and facilities such as sewer, gas, electrical, and water systems, and streets and bridges. So overall, comment on all of those 11 items? And again, you have the responses by the appellant.
Well, it doesn't appear that anything would be swept away. That building's pretty solid.
Yeah.
There's no window, I mean, there's,
Yeah, most
you know,
of
the
them
whole
do.
building would have to go.
Right.
And then, I guess, but that would take some.
Yeah. And here is the extra 5 items. The variances shall only be issued upon 1, a showing of good and sufficient cause. Here's where we discuss.
Well, he has said that their church is growing, and therefore they need more efficient space and additional space.
Okay.
Number 2, a determination that failure to grant a variance would result in exceptional hardship due to the physical characteristics of the property, increased cost of the inconvenience of meeting the requirements of these regulations does not constitute an exceptional hardship to the applicant. And again, same thing that you argued like this. Number 3, a determination that the granting of a variance will not result in increased flood heights beyond that which is allowed in these regulations. Additional threats to public safety, extraordinary public expense, nuisance, fraud, or victimization of the public or conflict with existing local laws. Would not be to that extent, right? Number 4, a determination that the structure or other development is protected by methods to minimize flood damages.
Well, in some sense, yeah, that huge parking lot, I think, would, is, I think, crucial to thinking about minimizing flood damage. In that water could pool in there.
I think more importantly, the building is going to be masonry, which was one of the factors back in the old ordinance years ago, that the quality and type of construction would be that it would be least resistant.
Right.
And that's what they are doing, matching the same type of construction with the 8-inch masonry with 4-inch brick veneer.
Correct.
So it's going to be solid.
And number 5, a determination that the variance is the minimum necessary considering the flood hazard to afford relief.
Yes, a small addition.
Okay. Upon consideration of the above factors and the purposes of these regulations, the Board of Zoning Appeals may attach such conditions to the granting of variance as it deems necessary. So that's
Do we have to reiterate the insurance thing, as they did on the original variance?
Mr. Paskey.
That's a Paul Oak question. I would go ahead and do so, and then I'll let him decide if we need to put it on there.
Okay. Joan, if you know where that is,
Yeah, it's on the first.
Go ahead and read it, please.
Oh, sure. The Board of Zoning Appeals is required by local ordinances and federal regulation to warn you as a recipient of a variance to the floodplain ordinance that construction of a lowest floor below the official projected base floor elevation level will result in higher flood insurance premiums and increased risks to life and property.
And yes, it is. It's D3. If you look at the next, where other conditions for variances is D3. You just pretty much read the same thing.
Okay.
I assume that the church would know that because the diocese would be concerned.
Yeah. Are we ready for voting?
We start with you, Joan.
Yes, I vote yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I vote yes.
Oh,
I vote yes.
I vote yes as well, so you have the variance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And just take a few seconds to get things in order. That's okay.
Step out for 2 minutes.
Yeah, can we take a very short break?
I move a 3-minute break.
Okay, granted.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, are we ready to do our third and last case? This is case number 14-10V. The property at 24 South Schaefer Street, Zone R3. Mr. Gary Rothwell is the appellant. The appellant is requesting variances from ACC 2310 Table A, a schedule of bulk control, to allow an addition to a structure with a front setback of 6 feet, where 25 feet is the minimum requirement, with a rear setback of 14 feet, where 30 feet is the minimum requirement, with lot coverage of 36%, where 30% is the maximum allowed, and from ACC 230303B to allow a right side setback of 3 feet, where 4 feet is the minimum requirement, and from ACC 2310 Table B Office Street parking requirements to have 1 accessible parking space, where 2 accessible parking spaces are the minimum requirement. Mr. Rothwell?
Well, if I could first, I'd like to reiterate that the applicant bought this house recently. The lady who was in there passed away, and he purchased the home. He did come in our office and obtained a permit to do everything he was wanting to do. But then he, for his needs that he can explain, started doing some increasing of the cubic content, basically extending the roof line out the back for a bathroom, whatever it may be, on the second floor. All of these variances, in essence, were there before. So nothing has changed other than what he's done a little bit to increase some square footage on the second floor. And I can let him explain that to you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Paskey?
I think, I do have a question. Let me go to the sheet, because I thought it said, and maybe it was the tax sheet, that it said there was 1 bedroom downstairs and 2 up?
That's what I'm hoping for, yeah.
So this was, okay, so it's going to be 1 bedroom down. So where's
You
the
have-
bedroom downstairs?
It's listed as dining, but we're,
Joni, why don't you let him
yeah.
introduce himself and that first?
Yes, please introduce yourself.
There's 3 sets of these, one's before, one's after. Can I get this switched? I've got some pictures and.
This is the part that's going on.
Okay.
Okay, I'm Gary Rothwell, 6665 Radford Road, Athens, Ohio. I put some of this, I know it's getting late, probably everybody wants to go home. I guess this probably come about from a misunderstanding, and I'll just show you what I put in here.
Okay, there you go.
I'm sorry you can't see this very well. The resolution doesn't look good. I did have a projector, but I'll just read this, what was attached. I don't know if you all got a copy of that.
We do.
Anyway, we purchased this property March 14th, applied for the building permit on the 17th. At that time, we wasn't 100% sure because the house was totally full of junk and a complete mess. But I know he's going to tear the whole insides out, and I'll show you. We went and applied for the application for a permit, and at that time, I was contemplating putting another floor
above the kitchen area because well, I'll show you later, to accommodate different things. But, and I asked, and I was, to the best of my knowledge, and I'm not trying to say anyone said anything else, but it was my understanding that if I did not change the footprint of the structure, I wasn't an addition. I wouldn't need anything else. So that's what we did. We continued this work, and then on the 11th, we started construction on the 11th of July. We started construction on the roof to get the roof, everything on the roof, and just to finish up the next week because I didn't want everything wet. And that's when Brian Julie called me and said there was a problem. And that's why. So, basically, that's what I just read. Can you keep that up there? Yeah, I want to go through this. This is our first, and I don't know if you have a copy, that's our first permit. And it does say, I didn't know, I'm new to this, I don't know how to word this, but it give me approval for, it says square footage and construction addition, and that's why we thought everything was okay. This was the second one that Brian told me I'd have to fill out, and it specifically calls for removal of the roof in the kitchen area, which we had already done at that time. This is just the back of the appeal, the decision. On what I understand, I had to meet these constraints. I'm sure you're familiar with it. I'm not going to read through all of these. This is just a few brief statements on what I thought that we accomplished there. Said the granting of permit will not alter the general purpose or intent of the house or neighborhood. The house, and really I didn't know it was an R3 house until afterwards. I thought it was an R1. But, we're not planning on putting anything. My son's going to live there. If we're allowed, we would like to be able to have 2 rooms that we could possibly rent because we're doing extensive renovations to it. I didn't believe the granting permit would cause any injury to the area or be detrimental to the public welfare. As a matter of fact, I think we greatly improved it when we finished. The extension of the rear upper portion of the house to accommodate a second floor bathroom and closet space for the 2 bedrooms is needed. As I'll show you, and as you can see, upstairs there was 2 bedrooms, and I've got some pictures. I hope they come out better than the writing here. I'll show you what we meant. There was a small bedroom and then another fairly decent-sized bedroom upstairs, but no bathing facilities. And basically, we took that middle small bedroom and wanted to make it into a bathroom and closets. And the space that was over the kitchen, we extended it upwards and created a bedroom above that. Denial of the variance. Other properties in the areas have additions added on to them. As you know, it looks to me like I've only seen possibly one single-family homeowner in the area. It looks like most of the structures are duplexes or rentals of some sort. The denial of the variance will not allow for the use of space above the rear area of the existing structure. Improvements to create needed updates for comfortable living areas would be denied. It would cause great hardship to be created. The design of the house would be altered or not allowed. The existing construction that has been completed as approved in the original permit will have to be removed. There's also, with the change of the roof line, we was able to reroute the rainwater which was pooling behind that, which caused us to have to remove some of the rear structure of the house and rebuild it, as I'll show you in the pictures. The value and usable area of the property will be diminished if we're not allowed to continue to do that. The variance will not alter the ground coverage or land use of the house in any way. We did not add any structure to it. This is an old, probably a blue-collar brick workers neighborhood. I call it a shotgun house. You'll see it. It's not too many of them left around. Variance will not impair the supply of air or light to any of the adjacent properties. It will not cause additional congestion in the streets. Off-street parking may be improved, as we've discussed possibilities with the adjacent property owners. Additional off-street parking is available near the house if we need it, all within walking distance, short walking distance of the house if we need to purchase parking places. Improvements being made will greatly decrease the risk of fire for this structure and adjacent homes. The general area safety will be improved by improved lighting and improvements. Improvements will increase adjacent property values and enhance the quality of the neighborhood. That's our belief. We have plans on making some lighting. There's a house directly behind us, as you'll see in the pictures. We intend to put motion sensor light on that side of the house, so the people walking that right away will have light to get back to their property. Whereas it's, I know there's several girls lives back there. It'd be a little spooky for me walking back there at nighttime. As far as the fire hazard, that the house was it was a testament to the good Lord willing that it didn't burn down. I don't know. I mean, the house was, we found that it was electrical and the gas. There was gas leaks. And I don't know how the poor woman in there even survived, because it had no insulation. I mean, it's the kind of house I like to get. Nobody's messed with it, so I didn't have to deal with someone else's fixing up to, we're also, I don't think it's going to give us any special privileges as several homes in the neighborhood. It's not going to decrease anything as far as that. Any of the homes in the neighborhood are all pretty much, what I can tell, student rental type properties. I do have some pictures here, and I'll try to show you real fast. I'm just hoping that they show up halfway decent. This is can I use this laser here? I went out and bought this today just for you guys.
Sure.
This property is kind of strange. Now it won't work. I knew I shouldn't have went to Walmart. Isn't that amazing? Oh, there it's working. It just don't show up on there. Anyway, this is the lot, and it's a pretty good cost. We have a survey under place right now to find out where our property is, because back in the deed it says from a stone and all that stuff, and we don't know exactly where the property lines are, but it does extend beyond the property next to us. I do have a letter, and I hope you all got a copy from all of the adjacent homeowners. This is the cemetery across the street. This is the old railroad bed, which has parking if need be. This is 24 and a half Schaefer. This is 26 Schaefer. This is 20 Schaefer. This is Mr. Brandewine, Prokos, and David Sturbois has this. And I have documents where they don't object to anything being done there. This is the original layout, shows in the auditor's map. on the records, front porch. This was it's a little smaller than that. That was a back porch. This was a bathroom that was probably added. The house says it was 1900. I don't know exactly when it was built, but the bathroom was probably added later. I don't even think it had running water when it was probably built. There's a picture of the side. This is before anything was done. This is the realtor's picture, and you can see back here, this is the bathroom. Oh, crap.
Oops.
What did I do here? Is that a touch screen? There we go. All right. My mom told me I should always keep my hands in my pockets. This was the bathroom. This was the kitchen, and you can see it doesn't. The roof line just went up, and it's a pretty narrow house. It's 14 feet wide, about 48 feet long. This is what I showed you. This was the existing structure before. This chimney and this wall has been removed. This wall is partially removed. This whole back end where it says bath and porch was found because of the drainage situation was removed. We tore it off and completely rebuilt it because of the deterioration. The roof over here was sunk and in bad shape, and we removed this roof. The steps was very narrow. We enlarged the steps and made them come in from this way. There you can see the side view. And these aren't perfectly, a friend of mine drew these for me, and they're not perfectly accurate, but it's a pretty good depiction. Here's what we plan on doing. This shows the old roof line of the house, and this is where we added on. And the intent upstairs is where this was a bathroom. The stairs now come up this way. We widened them and made them wider. We've got some nice wide hallways. I allowed to put me closet space on both ends, and a nice sized bathroom in here. This bedroom will be a nice sized bedroom. I think it's about 14 by 13. Allows to have a very nice on the back here that's about 13 feet by about 17, and with nice closet space. And downstairs, the bathroom is, we just finished putting up some walls. It's a little bit different than this, but we have a bathroom, and the washer and dryer will actually be over here, not over here. The kitchen, and as you can see, we opened this space up, so this will be the living room, and you can look back through. I would like to make this a bedroom if possible. There is going to be a bathroom down there that'll be a private area for someone. We added this door onto the side that opens up into this part here. Probably this week we have to do a lot of work on this house. There's a picture of it recently. I'll just go through these pictures real fast. That's just the front. You can tell we need to replace the front wall. We did have there was a pretty dangerous tree out front that was dead, and we did get it removed. It was electric lines in it, completely dead. As far as the side of the house, the property line comes over, as far as I know, at least as far as the brick is. This also serves as a right-of-way to the house behind it. And this is the addition. This is the part we added on up here. And these pictures are, we've done a little bit more. We're kind of tied up. That's the back. Mine's the one with the new lumber on it. And that's just another picture of the front. You can see it's, we do have the window. Oh, the other thing we did here, let me go back to this. This is a very poor, it's got the fuse box on the front of the house, and we had a pole put in back here, utility pole, because the power lines used to come right up through here and actually hit the side. The power lines for the back of the house, the house behind us actually hit our house, and they put a piece of plastic pipe on it to keep it from. So we had the power company come in and set a pole back here, and power lines down the back here. We're going to bring our power up this pole into the house up here. We closed off, this is because of the close quarters between these two houses, we closed off all the windows because there really wasn't much benefit of the windows. Might creep someone out, standing there and looking at the other windows. But we did put a doorway in here. We're going to use that for a exit from the back of the house if we need it. That's just down the right side of the house looking from the back. This is not, I mean, it's new construction, but this bottom part was here. But when we deconstructed the house, this was in bad condition. So we just tore it off. The bathroom, we took the toilet up. It was, I don't know how she wasn't sitting on the floor. I mean, under the house, because it was gone, and it had been propped up. And so anyway, we just tore the whole back off, and that's what this is. We reconstructed the back where the bathroom and everything was. That's just looking at it from the back. There's the pole. I told you we had this pole put on there and brought over. There's another picture of it. You can see this is actually the part that we've added, and this was over the kitchen and the bathroom here. And that's going to be, the plan is that that's a nice, very nice sized bedroom for someone to use.
Mr. Rothwell, I guess most of the members have visited the place, so they're familiar. So if there's anything else you would like to add,
Okay.
And then we have some questions.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I have a question about parking issue. So would that, this is kind of like our previous case, would that, they're together then, right? I mean, we could require that.
Yeah, we are looking at the whole thing.
Yeah, we didn't, my wife's contacted two, the parking that was at the HDL Laughlin's has a parking there available, and then the fairgrounds is a block away, and there's parking.
You could
available.
rent that.
Parking available there also if we have to have that. We did, Mr. Sturbois, we talked to him in the back. He has an area that he would like to make a place to park. And Brandywine Realtors, they don't have a right-of-way on my property, but they do have a couple of parking places that's available to them if we allow them to use the driveway. So that would help with the parking on the street. And then we have, depends on our outcome on our survey, we're possibly going to be able to put a parking place in the rear of the house. So that will help. And then, of course, the lady was granted a handicap spot, which she didn't drive because she was 100 years old. So that kind of freed up another parking spot in the front. But we've talked about that.
But would you be willing to lease maybe a
Yeah.
parking space?
Well,
Okay.
the variance request right now is for one parking space where two is required as a owner-occupied residence. If they want to make it a rental, it would need, if they're wanting 3-bed, then it would need 3. And if they were lease on the HDL property, you would have to come back to here to get a variance for off-site parking.
Okay.
So just that this variance does not accommodate that.
Rentals.
Right.
So, as of right now, this is for owner-occupied, not as a rental.
Right, right.
Right.
Well, my plan is for David to live there.
Right.
Okay.
I'm hoping he behaves himself.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I'm still a little vague on parking. You're required to have 2. And so you sort of have general plans, but I would like a little bit more specificity if you could. What are you going to do with the cars?
As of right now, I can't, because we do not have the survey completed, and I do not know exactly where our boundary lines are. The neighbors do not know where their boundary lines are. The property behind us is pretty much landlocked by us, except for that right of way. And you know, most people cannot even pull into that right now because of the steepness. Most cars, it pulls the front end off of it. And Mr. Sturbois and myself have talked about possibly redoing that driveway so that, you know, I've only seen one person pull in there. So that we can hopefully, between the 3 property owners, have 3 or 4 parking places. There are some parking places at 26, or no, at 20. But he don't really have a right of way into them. You know, that's, I don't have a problem with him going in there, but, so I can't, you know, I can't tell you 100%. I mean, I could sit here and say, yeah, we've got one in the back, but it depends on what the survey, you know, if the survey comes back. Mr. Sturbois thought we owned over to there's an old clothesline pole there. And I did find a iron stake over on the end that would permit us to have one parking place behind the house. But I wish I could tell you 100% because I just, you know, but, you know, if we have to purchase parking, that's not a problem for us. It's, the nice thing is, I mean, most of the people that I've seen living there are, don't appear to have vehicles. They're walking, and it is conducive to walking. You know, it's very close to campus, and it's, we're a block away from the grocery store and the cider house, you know, gosh.
Okay,
So
yes.
my question is, I'm confused now. Is there one accessible parking place now? Tonight? This
I
minute?
think there is.
You think there is?
Yeah.
There
We based
is?
it on that
Okay.
too. We believe there is as well.
Okay, so,
I mean, the whole thing is, you know, I could just say yes, there is.
well,
Technically, there's probably more
somebody's
than,
vouching for you, so.
technically, there's more than one, but we can't count them because it's R3 and you can't do stacked parking. So,
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I have a place to park and nobody,
Okay. And again, this is based on its being an owner-occupied house.
Correct.
With the possibility of 2 rentals.
If they, well, we can only review this based on the fact that it's a house. If he wishes to change his status to some kind of rental, either owner occupied and stuff, that'd be a separate issue.
Then he would have to come back.
You'd have to come fill out a permit application.
Okay, and see how that works.
Yeah.
But at the moment, if there is one accessible parking place, this is a variance that we can vote on tonight.
Yes.
Legitimately, with
Yes.
what's on the piece of paper.
Yes.
Let's do that.
Okay, that's all good. Well, thank you. And thanks for the presentation. That was very good, very helpful. Sir, did you intend to speak today? Okay, great. You don't have anybody else to?
I'll speak in general comment, just to let you know that the previous owner, we did try numerous times to offer them our paint program, and to get them in touch with HAPCAP on the weatherization and revitalization program, and they just continually denied it. So,
And that was this older woman?
yes, and her family.
Oh, and her
We don't know why, but they
Okay.
kept turning us off. So,
We're kind of held up right now because of all this. We intend to side it with period type, not just, I would like to put vinyl siding, but as far as window trims and stuff, I'd like to put up some wider window trims that's more prevalent inside. Not just make it look like a apartment building, so.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. We close the discussion on the floor and request a motion. Okay.
I move that we grant a variance to the property at 24 South Schaefer Street from variances ACC 2310, Table A, Schedule of Bulk Controls, to allow an addition to a structure with a front setback of 6 feet, where 25 feet is a minimum requirement, and with a rear setback of 14 feet, where 30 feet is the minimum requirement, with lot coverage of 36%, where 30% is the maximum allowed, from ACC 230303B to have a right side setback of 3 feet, where 4 feet is the minimum requirement, and from ACC 2310 Table B off-street parking requirements to have 1 accessible parking space, where 2 accessible parking spaces are the minimum requirements.
A second.
Second, okay. I just want to add that there were 3 letters of support from the owners, controllers of 2 adjacent properties. 2 of them have the same address. Okay, exceptional circumstances. Are there exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions that apply to the property in question or to the intended use of the property that do not apply generally to other properties or classes or uses in the same zone?
Well, this is a small lot in an area where the lots are all small, but it seems to be particularly small. And the house itself is a very narrow little house. Okay, that's all I've got to say about that.
And I think that may have also applied to the practical difficulty and undue hardship because of exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions pertaining to the specific piece of property. A literal enforcement of these regulations will result in practical difficulty or undue hardship that is unnecessary to the achievement of the public purposes.
Well, yes, and most of these setbacks have to do with existing circumstances.
Right.
And this house was built well before this code ever went into effect. So either you have the house and give it these variances that for dimensions that already exist, or you just tear the house down and have a vacant lot.
Any other comments? Preservation of equal property rights.
Well, it seems to me that the addition above the kitchen, the previous kitchen, is a reasonable thing. And the fact that it is added cubic feet or square feet or cubicish feet, okay,
cubic content.
increases the livability of the house, and it creates a rather technical enlargement of the house because the footprint is in fact the same. So seems minimal to me.
And that also answers number 4, the minimum variance, although it looks like there are many variances, but they're already existing conditions. Okay. Absence of detriment.
I don't see any detriment in this case to maintaining the existing setbacks and slightly increasing really renovating the house entirely to make a derelict house livable.
Mhm.
And actually, the way it's been added on to doesn't detract from the style of the house. And
No,
I think that's
that's
very
true.
important. We're
Yes.
not looking at some giant thing that went
Right.
up and
Yeah.
went out.
Right.
So I think that, yes, I'll say the same.
Right.
And do you all agree that this is not of a general nature?
It is not.
Okay, very good. Ms. Hollow?
I'm going to vote yes.
Ms. Carson?
Yes.
Ms.
Yes.
Towsley?
Yes.
Yes, and I vote yes as well, so you have the variance.
Now, I have one question. If he does want to rent a room,
Talk to them.
After that.
Yeah.
Go back to the drawing board.
That would be another meeting.
that's another meeting. All right, thank you very much.
That's another variance.
Come back in, unfortunately.
Okay,
Again. And
do we have a motion to accept the minutes from our June 10, 2014 meeting?
I moved that
You
we
moved.
accept- Yeah. So moved.
Okay, so moved.
That was a long time ago.
Okay, the final thing I want to mention is that Mr. Ed Baum and is working with the city to finalize our procedure of the rules, and hopefully by next month or next meeting, we will have everything done and we can sign it.
Okay.
And I think we should congratulate Ms. Carson for a very nice presentation.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
For the presentation.
Yes.
She already has a contract with Hollywood people, so.
Okay, are we done?
Motion to adjourn,
Yes.
I second.
so moved.
I gotta go outside where it's hot.